See, so you're using my mic right now that I'm used to running.
Oh, okay.
But because of the cable and the construction that we had to have here, yeah. So I guess we're back to season 2. I guess I took a 3-month hiatus from this. We're with Jon Flint here. John, say hi to everybody.
What's going on, everybody?
Everybody, all 2 of us watching online right now.
Oh, 3.
Oh, we got 3. My gosh, I should quit my full-time
We're
job.
just breaking
and start doing
records
this.
out
Yeah,
here. That's it.
I know. Speaking of breaking records, how about this fishing season, man? Hasn't it been wild with this whole COVID thing?
Hasn't been much of a fishing season for me, that's for sure. Just way too busy. Couldn't get out.
You've done some derbies, though, no?
A couple. Actually one. I fished
One.
at Twilight. Yeah, that was it.
But you did good. Did well.
Second to Mr. Joyner.
Mr. Joyner here. And speaking of Mr. Joyner, this is where we're coming from you live today from the Dunville Country Chip Wagon. We were nice enough to have actually 2015 Collegiate champion Jon Flint come out and talk to us a little bit. So there's a little bit of action going on here, Lake Erie, the next little bit. But yeah, let's first talk about that. So you did a little Twilight here. You're part of a local club. Let's talk about that local club.
Yeah, I'm part of Port Colborne. Just like a local deal, the CBAF stuff.
Yeah.
We fished a couple Twilights. It was all right. I mean, I kind of just ran out there and just winged it. But I mean, what are you gonna do?
You're a fellow Tin Man of mine, aren't as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And that's kind of one misconception that people have about aluminum boats. You can't get out onto that big water in it.
For me specifically, you can, but it's touch and go, man. When you feel that breeze, just go home.
Just go home.
I can't. Like, I can stay out there for a little bit, man, but I don't know. Once it starts blowing, just go.
Just go. You've spent a lot of time out in other guys' boats and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And you kind of know when that 3-foot chop picks up and.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Out there and
I've had buddies that I brought out that were like, "What do you mean it's fine?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, in 20 minutes we're gonna be dead." So.
See, that's why I wanted you on here. I love your little add-on-isms there. Yeah, no, Lake Erie, and we have an event coming up here, a pretty major one. CBAF semifinal, and what we can do with that is you come and you fish with one of the local clubs. I think we had 22 boats sign up for it, and you're going as a co-angler?
Yeah, I'm gonna fish as a co. Yeah.
Why?
I again was not confident in the wind, and if I had my boat and it went gnarly, I don't know what I would have done. I'd have been like, okay, look at my co-angler. Well, let's flip the docks in the Port Colborne Marina because we're not going anywhere.
Hey, there's some big fish in there, though.
I know. I hooked one and fell off my boat.
Well, all right. You got to tell us this story. What do you mean you hooked one and fell off your boat?
Again, same thing. The wind blew. I was taking a buddy of mine and his son fishing, and we started just flipping docks, like just tossing Sinkos, getting him used to it. He's a young kid. And I flipped a Sinko under dock, hooked a fish. The wind was blowing, so the wind blew the line around the cleat of the dock. So I went up on the trolling motor, got close to the dock, put one foot on the dock while the fish was still hooked underneath, and then accidentally hit the button on the trolling motor and went the opposite direction with the other leg. And the guy's dad was like holding onto my leg, trying to keep me in the boat. I was like, "Just let me go, man. Just let me go. I'm done." And I just jumped in.
Did you land the fish?
No, no.
What did you figure it was? Largemouth, smallmouth?
That was a large one for sure.
Big largemouth.
Big enough.
Well, you know, and that's that other interesting thing we've seen with that big fish kill a couple years ago up on St. Lawrence there. A lot of these tournaments now are going to these 4-fish limits.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
To be completely honest, I never really thought about it. It doesn't bother me.
No?
It's just kind of give me the rules and let's go. That's it.
That's fair.
If I'm going after 4, if I'm going after 5, I guess I don't know, in a way it makes it a little easier because on Erie, if you're looking for 5 big bites, you're looking for like 5 5s or 5 6s if you know where the big fish are. Makes it a little easier because you don't need that kicker.
If you know where 5 6s are on Erie,
well,
I've never caught a 6-pounder on Erie.
I mean, talk to Simon, but
yeah.
I've got a couple out of there that are 6, but
later in the year or early in the spring?
October.
Yeah, so they're all chunking up and getting real big by then. So how many years have you been fishing Erie?
Well, 2015, the year that I fished your tournament, would have been the first year that I actually did anything competitive and even heard, like, even remotely thought about competitive bass fishing, I used to just fish
Yep.
for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Like ugly stick it off the bank.
oh, yeah, just get the Shakespeare, toss it out, figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Zebco close reel, you know.
Oh, but those Zepco. So I fished with a guy, Bassman in Dirk Dysdale, and he fished with like those pistol grip 5.5-foot rods, and Fireline, and not the Daiwa Procaster, the gold one.
Okay.
And he would throw pink flukes the whole time, and he was good fisherman, man. He always brought them in. So
I never threw pink. I only throw white. That's it.
the white, yeah,
White, and that's it.
I honestly don't remember the last time that I threw a fluke at all ever.
I mean, I don't want to give too much away.
Oh,
But I'll just say you're missing out. I'll just say you're missing
are
out.
you drop shotting? Or are you throwing it like a jerkbait?
No, I'm literally throwing it like a jerkbait.
Yeah, I don't do too much of that anymore.
You can go weightless or just like throw one of the swim bait hooks on it. It's like an 1/8 ounce. Sink it down a little bit. If the bite's shallow, obviously, like you're not gonna. I mean, you can try to throw a fluke in 35 feet of water, but I don't know.
Well, I just start feeding it line and hope for the best
No,
there.
cast it out, sit there for 45 minutes, and figure it out.
So you've done one Twilight event there.
Yep.
Have you been out lately? Like I know.
No, I haven't.
So this time of year on Erie though, it gets a little skittish.
Yeah, it's been tough for sure. The last time I went out, I mean, I still caught fish, but the effort you had to put out to get them was insane. Like,
now people, I've always heard of that magical. Oh, I was on Erie and I caught 90 fish, caught 100 fish. Have you ever had one of those days?
yes.
So what do you mean you're catching 100 fish? Like, is this 2 people in a boat? Is this 3? Because that's just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I mean, the first time I was ever introduced to anything like that was with Simon Frost. He took me out, and I caught more fish than I ever thought you could catch in a day. But for me personally, out of my boat, I took one of my buddies out, and I was almost right off the launch of Crystal Beach in October a couple years ago, where we had like
the hump right in front of Crystal Beach.
Like Crystal Beach boat ramps going in the water this way, backside of the riprap where the walkout is. Like on the beach. Yeah, in like 7 feet of water, I found a school of fish, and we caught.
In October?
Yep, middle of October when it was like 30 degrees. Remember we had that weird October?
Yeah, I remember fishing on Kuchiching in shorts and a t-shirt like on October 22nd.
Yep.
My dad just dummied them.
I found a pot of fish in 7.5 feet of water.
Yep.
And my buddy's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "That's fish." He's like, "All of it?" I'm like, "Yes, all of it." And we literally sat there for probably the next 4 to 4.5 hours and caught a fish every cast.
Were you fluking them?
Tubes.
Tubes.
And drop shot and spy bait. You throw whatever you want, didn't matter.
Right.
It's October, right? They don't care.
It's October. They don't. I've never had a day like that. I've had some good days out here, but I've never had a day where it's you catch 100 fish. Even I think, like honestly, if I catch 7 fish in a day,
I mean,
they're all big.
yeah, what kind of 7 fish are we talking about, Matt?
Right. Well, we've all seen.
That's
right?
not like that's an average day out there though. Like you go out and you do that.
Yeah.
Like that's good.
Right.
I've kind of got spoiled with who
You've been
I
fishing with.
fished with and learned and saw and like.
Yeah.
They even told me in the boat. He's like, "Don't get used to it, man." He's like, "It's not." He's like, "This isn't what happens all the time." And you learn the hard way when you get your own boat.
Yep.
You learn quickly that it's not as easy as people make it seem.
No, it definitely is. Even that early spring stuff. Have you done any of that 20-inch?
No.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Because you're throwing Joyner. That's where Joyner and I kind of got to know each other and started fishing out there with that. But you get these like 21-inch, 4.8 pounders, and you're throwing back 5.5s that are 19 3/4.
Oh yeah.
And I get
some of the biggest fish I've caught out of Erie have been shorter. Like they haven't been 21s, 22s. Like
comes from?
yeah, they've been like 19, 18 and a half, but they're still like 5 3/4, 5.5.
Just fat.
Yeah, they're just enormous.
Find they're eating all the goby.
Yeah, well, I mean, smallmouth bass, man, are killing machines. Like they just kind of run around and eat whatever's around.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? And they can switch real quick. Like, and go be bite, cool, we're done. Crayfish. Okay, now we're done. We're going to do something else.
So me being a lot more experienced on Simcoe there, and there's a definite time of year when a crawfish type presentation around the crawfish hatch in early July. Do you have the same kind of thing here where you actually change presentation for a crawfish bite?
More so colors, honestly. Like, a lot of what I do is it's pretty much the same thing over and over. It's just the color varies is basically it. That's all I've found. Like, you can go out there and you'll throw, like, if you're fishing deep water, throw a tube. If it's a goby style tube, you're going to find out pretty quickly if they're eating gobies or not. If they're not, throw a tube maybe that's a little bit brighter, maybe even darker, like crayfish-y color, I guess. And then if they start smoking that, I mean, they tell you. Like, when you're out there, they tell you. You just got to pay attention.
So how many times in a day would you say you change color? Like, you just keep, like, and is it a certain sequence of colors you go through specifically?
I find that I have certain colors for, like, the progression of seasons almost.
Okay.
And that's not even from, like, just guessing. That's just from putting time in the water and figuring it out. Like, going out there in early spring, you throw a color. And that comes with going out there and throwing 37 of the wrong color first and then figuring it out. And you're like, okay, cool. And then you go back the next year in early spring and you start with that color and then it works again and again and again. And you're like, okay, well, there you go. Same thing with the middle of summer. I mean, middle of summer can be tough. They kind of get picky and they do weird things. I mean, they're
just coming out of that time right now, from what I can gather.
That's what it seems like.
Right.
And like, I mean, it's Erie, man. There's always going to be fish shallow. There's always going to be fish deep. And we're in September now, so getting close to the end of September is that TBF tournament. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so you going as a non-boater there, do you feel that like anyone that knows who Jon Flint is should probably listen to you and the I know I will, but you're jumping in the back of that Alumacraft and like, John, where are we going? John, what color am I throwing? No, seriously though. Do you find that like it's difficult going out of the back of someone's boat when you're so intimate with a body of water that you're on?
It definitely has its challenges, I'll say that.
Yeah.
But it depends who you're fishing with. I mean, when I was fishing clubbies and I was a I fished with a lot of great dudes that, like, they knew the water just as well as I did, so there wasn't really any, like, pushback or anything. It was kind of like, yeah, okay, we both agree on what we're doing, and we already knew, right? This tournament is going to be interesting because I have no idea who I'm going to be paired up with or if I even know the guy. I mean, I know a decent amount of people that are in the tournament, and I'm familiar with whoever, but it can be bad sometimes if the boater has, I guess, I don't really want to call anybody out, but like that mentality of like, it's my boat, we're going to do what I want to do. You know what I mean?
That's not calling anyone out. That's just saying that like, it's a known thing. You fish in the States and stuff, that the boaters can be pretty set in their ways.
Well, I mean, if it was my boat and I was the boater and I went to a body of water that I wasn't familiar with and my lived 20 minutes away from the lake and that's where he fished, I would do the same thing you did.
Best Erie anglers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am kind of lucky that way.
Right.
I'd just ask him. I'd be like, all right, what's going on? What are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little tough for this tournament because you don't know who you're paired up with until the day before, right? So there's really no planning that can go into it or anything. Like, you can't link up with them and go pre-fish a day. Like, you can't do anything.
Yep.
It's just kind of like, here you go, figure it out tomorrow.
Yep.
So, I don't know. It's the first time I've ever fished this event, so.
You looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm excited. I went out and bought some new stuff.
Some new stuff, like flipping jigs.
Yes, I'm gonna throw flipping jigs.
And a Zara spook.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not throwing a flipping jig.
I hope not, dude.
No, I haven't been out here. Canadian Tire last year was the last time I was out here.
Really?
Yeah, but I spent a lot of time on that Lake Simcoe this year, and like
Lake Simcoe's getting man, the fish I see coming out of there, Erie's got some competition, man. Like, it seems like the fish I see coming out of Simcoe are, like, the average is bigger than Erie, I would say.
I know 100%. When I weighed 3 6-pounders in a 2-day tournament. That's gross.
Go do that in Erie.
I don't think you can. You can get one maybe.
Yeah.
But even there, the 2 years Joyner and I fished that event out of Port Colborne there, we had third big fish both years, and one was a 5-1 and the other one was like a 4-8.
And that's third.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's not...
It
like,
seems...
I'm throwing fours back on Simcoe.
It seems like on Erie there's like an abundance of fish that are in like that same class that are really tight together, like 5-1, 5-2, 5-3. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But to get that 6 out of there is, it's, I don't know, few and far between.
We say, or Darren, and I've kind of adopted this, is he says it's a 4.7 average you need, which would be 22.5 pounds to win an event on Erie.
I would say.
Yeah.
I fished an event with Jeff Turner. You were there. You were there for that. When we caught the one that was like 6.5.
Oh yeah, the week before the big one. Yeah. Yeah, I had 21 and change, and I'm going, oh yeah, and I come in third.
And we had 26.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hooked that fish, and he thought it was a sheephead. I had my hooks.
We won the tournament off that spot.
I had my hooks tangled in the net, and he's like, "Don't even worry about it. It's a sheephead." And then he couldn't turn it, and it came up, and then it was cut the line and put the net in the water. Like, it was insane. I haven't. That's.
You guys don't lip fish?
Just MLF them?
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. But you're not, like, again, you're not a stranger from being in the back of a boat.
No.
Let's talk college fishing for a bit there.
Sure.
2015 and 2016, I believe you fished my event at Georgian Bay. Another phenomenal Great Lakes smallmouth fishery.
That place is crazy.
Oh, I was there last weekend for a derby, a tournament, and we had 4 more feet of water than what I've ever seen there.
Wow.
So, you know, like Flat Rock area?
Yep.
And it's all like, you just see the mounds coming out.
Yeah,
it's like rolling hills of granite. It's just flat water. It's really eerie looking.
Dangerous.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. And all the locals, like 15, 20 years ago, this is what the water level was apparently.
The only problem I have with that place is everything looks so good.
I know.
All of it. Yeah. Like, you can go anywhere and be like, this is... Like, you go to Erie and you look and you're like, okay, like, this is better than this. You go to G Bay and you're just like, okay. It all looks great. And I don't know.
Fishing.
You can do that too.
Oh, it was I had a lot of fun. I had like 12-4 or something for 4 fish, and it caught 10 fish. It was a good day.
When I was helping you out with the event last year, I thrown a tube and got largemouth. Yeah. And they were not small.
And they fight. They fight. These Great Lakes fish are still largemouth. They're especially big fighters there.
Yeah, they're nuts.
But that the first college event, you showed up and you won.
Yes.
The back of a boat.
Yes, I did.
What were you doing different from your boater? Or why were you getting those fish to eat?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. That was the first tournament I ever fished in my entire life. And I went there and I was like, okay, we got to catch bass. Cool. Talked to Simon. Simon helped me out a bunch before we went. And I just went fishing, man. That was it. I didn't do anything
Wash some lures.
In particular. Like, I'll be completely honest. I threw a spy bait the entire day. And it was like relatively newer at that time, right? Mm-hmm. So I literally threw that and stuck with that. And I mean, I think it was 3 fish, right? And I only had I remember it. I had 870. That's it.
Yeah, it was tough that year.
And I think I beat your brother by 0.01.
0.02.
Yeah, he was like 868 or something like that.
I was his scrutineer for the first half of the morning. And again, using your resources, right? He turned on my graph, and he's like...
Had 700 waypoints?
Yeah, he's like, I'm just going to go there. But no, it's crazy, because he went to an area that I fish. It's a sand flat that drops off from then it was 3 feet down to 26.
Yeah.
But on the far side was a bank of reeds. Mm. And I didn't really ever go do that largemouth thing on that bank of reeds, but he picked up a square bill and started fishing the reeds. I'm just sitting there going...
The complete opposite of what you think you would do.
Why have I never done this? And he caught.
Well, I fished. My boater, I kind of got lucky with the draw too with my boater. It was Cole.
Yeah.
It was Cole Vardy, and
Yeah.
he knows that water.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, he put me where they were 100%.
Right.
Like that was all him. I just happened to get 3 that were better than everybody else's, I guess.
I believe it was the 2002 year when Peter and Evan both had massive bags. Like I think Peter for 3 fish had like 1380 or something.
Oof.
And he had like a 560 in there.
That's nasty.
And he said that it was Evan would hook a fish, and there'd be a bigger one behind it. And he would just throw it and catch it.
Nice.
But no, between both of them, I think for their 5, they had 23 and change, 23 and a half.
Wow.
That's a couple really good bags.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, that's big out there,
Oh,
especially like
it's
that's
huge.
Yeah,
It's
like there's a
huge.
lot of fish out there, but
Like they're like
that's
there's
big.
a lot of 3.5 pounders, a lot
Yeah,
of 4
yeah,
pounders.
yeah.
But to get like when you're pushing a bunch of 5s, that's
Yeah.
a good day on the water there.
For sure.
So you won that, much like the semifinal. You won that event. You got a chance to go to Alabama,
Yep,
and you fished Lake Pickwick with Cole again.
I did.
How was that experience? Actually, I came down with you the first year.
Yeah, you were with us.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, first tournament I've ever fished, so I have no idea how these things work at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And rolling down there to see what things are like in the United States when it comes to bass fishing as opposed to up here is insane. It is not even remotely close. There's people that just know there's a fishing tournament. They don't have anybody in the tournament. They don't know anybody in the tournament, but they're just going to show up and watch anyway because it's bass fishing. But to get into like the meat of the tournament, to fish down there is completely different than anything I've ever had to do in my entire life.
Isn't it crazy how like what they consider a tier 2 college tournament, like how big of a deal they make it even in the town? And
Yeah, like it. What? I didn't expect any of that stuff, and I'm like, first of all, I got to spend hundreds of dollars on baits that I've never had to use in my life, and I'm throwing stuff at fish that would eat the largemouth in any lake around here, because the fish down there are so huge. Like they're eating shad that are
1
this
pound.
big. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm throwing like musky swim baits
Yeah.
to catch largemouth
Yeah.
bass. Like I'm blowing my shoulder out trying to fish this bait for 8 hours, man. Trying to throw a spoon, or like even the deep diving crankbaits, like the 25-foot crankbaits, stuff like that. Like cranking those through practice for 6.5 hours straight. It's insane.
What do you remember most about those couple days fishing there?
Well, one, how hard it was. And two, just how nice everybody was. A lot of the people couldn't even believe that we were from Canada and that we actually made it down to the tournament. Like, they didn't even believe us.
They all think that you're so far away.
But you got
and
guys from California that drove farther than we did.
Oh, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
most of Michigan is further than us.
Yeah, like, I'm like, it was like 18 hours. And you got guys that are driving like 26, 27 hours to get there. Everybody's super helpful, though. Like, there were guys in practice that were offering us spots.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I got enough. Here, take it if you want it.
Yep.
Like, it was crazy.
I remember how, and you did, actually, kind of, they loved you because you would come up there and just talk, and you're like, man, I love this place. I want to move down here.
I did. I was.
They ate it up like it was PB&J, man.
Well, hey, man. I mean, down there, I could get used to that all the time, man. I mean, I'd have to figure out how to catch a fish on that lake first, but like, yeah.
Did you guys weigh? You weighed fishing, all right?
I think we caught like 3 in 2 days.
That counts.
Yeah. And that was drop shotting ducks.
Yeah, you know what? I remember Mike Clark went down probably after the Scugocks. That would have been the second year I was doing this, so like 8 years ago now. And he went drop shotting because he lives in Hamilton. He fishes Erie all the time.
That's just what you do.
That's what he said. He's like, I'm going to go fish how I fish. And he came in like 30th place out of, 210, I think?
Yeah, there's a lot.
And that's like...
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not figuring it out, just go with what you know.
And
that was kind of it.
I went the first year to Lake Louisville in Texas, and probably the hardest fish I've ever been to. My third cast, I caught like a 5-pounder on a spook around some bushes, and I just went game on. I didn't see another fish for the rest of the week.
We caught one up. We hooked one decent one off a shell bed.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, yeah, here we go. Nope. No. Apparently, he was the only fish hanging around there, and
On
his
any
buddies
shell
weren't
bait
hanging
away,
out.
Yeah. So they're moving that event next year. We couldn't send the guys down, unfortunately, this year with the border closed.
Yeah.
But what we have next year is it's South Carolina, Lake Murray. I think it's Lake
Oh,
Murray.
yeah, okay.
So something completely different again. It's a lot more graph fishing, and Joey Tafolio, I don't know if you know him.
I do.
Yeah, the Laker guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, off his graphs all the time.
He
yeah,
can put in work over there for sure.
You know what? It's
100%.
If he sees him on his graph, he catches him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's enough information. That's what's nice.
I've seen the pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, there isn't enough. Well, on Simcoe, he said he was catching fish in like 44 feet or something in like early July. And I'm sitting there going, what do you mean?
Like smallmouth?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean-
fishing 2 feet of water, 4 feet of water
Yeah,
with a drop shot.
no kidding.
And he's playing off his graph, catching, like, he got second big fish for the second day.
Wow.
But yeah, and I'm sitting there going, that's,
Just seems super early.
well, we know fish spawn in 20, 25 feet.
Yeah.
Are these fish coming up 15 feet and then like from 35 and spawning 25 and then rolling back out? Like,
Yeah,
I figure all these fish that are up in 2 feet like live 12, 8, 12.
I would say. I don't think they're coming all the way out of 30,
30
to
up
roll all
two.
the way up to
No,
2.5. No.
So like different sections of water column, I think, is where the fish live.
Yeah.
That's where they say they have inherently deep and inherently shallow. So, yeah, I don't know. And this is why it's called fishing, right? Because no one can figure it out all the time.
Exactly.
So with this semi-final coming up and you being a co-angler there, if you do end up in that co-angler spot, are you looking to travel south and compete again?
I mean, obviously, yeah. I would love to. It was pretty fun. Being one of the, me and Cole, being the only two people from our country down there. Hopefully I can do better than I did in Alabama.
Yeah, I'm not. These are all like centrally stated lakes, like Kentucky, Arkansas.
Yeah.
I hope they kind of drift in Alabama. I've had a lot of fun down there in the last little while.
I mean, apparently it can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had fun while I was down there,
Well,
but
you want to go back?
the fishing beat me up.
I got a buddy down there that lives on Smith Lake.
Okay.
And my dad and I went.
Yeah, you
we
did
got
the
80 spots.
Yeah,
in
you were
half an
fishing
hour.
like in 80 feet or something like that.
with Magnum spooks.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And I went back just this past March there, right before this whole pandemic thing
Yeah,
hit. And I think we caught 10 or 12 fish, but they were like Ned rig and deep water. And we got to try out a bunch of new equipment and new trolling. It was a fun little time. So if you do ever get back down there, I suggest you try that spot fish. They're like smallmouth on steroids.
Really?
Oh God, they fight way harder.
Nice.
And then Pickwick, you get those like river-like smallmouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. So let me, because we are a food podcast and fishing podcast, I've done a bit of research on this in the past couple of years. Do you eat when you fish?
Nope.
Why?
I just can't be bothered to. I don't even think about it. I'm thinking about so many other things that I just don't even worry about it.
That's crazy there.
I did eat salt and vinegar Pringles at the Collegiate tournament that I won in that year. So every time I fish a big tournament, there is a can of salt and vinegar Pringles in my boat or in the boat somewhere.
Are you superstitious?
Apparently. Even if I don't eat them, they're in there.
I've never heard
They're in there.
the Pringle. I know don't bring a banana on the boat. And
Yeah, I've heard
you can
that
wear
too.
your underwear
That
4
was
days
just
in a row.
that was just a thing that happened.
That's fine. I remember Cal telling me he had a. Turn up the volume.
Turn up the volume.
I remember Cal telling me he had a co-angler Canadian Open that was out when it was in Kingston. Oh, must have been. When did I fish it first as a boater? 2013.
Okay.
And he would open up and order my God. See, I see all these people at the chip wagon ordering food, and that's like all I can think
Just
of.
ordering pizza to the launch ramp.
Oh, yeah, pulling a Timmy Horton there. We he opened a bag of chips, and Cal ran a single console boat.
Okay.
So this kid, his first tournament ever, is trying to stuff chips in his mouth, and they're going all over the back deck as
While
trying
he's
to
like
cross-
full pin. All
going
right.
across Lake Go.
I mean, that's one way to figure it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Totally. It's. I guess everyone learns, and that's what you do. So being a young angler, there, if someone wants to get in this sport, what advice would you have for them?
1, practice. 2, go in the high school event if you're in high school.
Yeah.
Start there.
Yeah.
Then go to the college event.
Right.
Do all that stuff first, 100%. Get in a club, 100%. Start doing clubbies. Do the co thing. If you got a boat, even better. Start there, man, and then figure it out after that.
Yep.
Get into like the bigger events if you want to. Pin
Pro-Ams.
down what you're good at. Fish like the joint events, all that stuff where you get exposure to like big boat fields and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like the CBAF is just great that way, where you can throw yourself in there and figure it out. You can just go, even if you've never fished before, just go out there and do it.
Yeah.
And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, all right.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the bank on Wednesday or whatever, man.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go back and golf.
Yeah.
Dunnville Golf and Country Club, great little place just up the road here. But okay, one thing I do at the end of every podcast here, John, it's called rapid fire.
Oh boy.
So I give you a this or that scenario,
All right.
and you got to pick.
All right.
They're not really related to anything, so
Okay.
it's just a lot of fun. So let's go. Drop shot or 2?
Drop shot.
Burger or hot dog?
Burger.
Boxers or briefs?
Boxers.
Pike or salmon?
Salmon.
Alabama or Ontario?
Ontario.
Blondes or brunettes?
Blondes.
Fire truck or ambulance?
Fire truck.
Ham and cheese or PB&J?
Ham and cheese.
Oh. Jig or Texas rig?
Jig.
Lager or ale?
Ale.
Oh. Buddy, it's been awesome.
It's been a pleasure, man.
Out here today.
Yeah, no problem, bud.
We have a lot of fun. Stick around, grab some food.
Yeah, for sure.
It's looking like it might get a little. It's nice that the sun's not out, but I know the wind's going to pick up a little bit.
It has
so.
rained on me twice since I've been sitting here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good. We're stuffed under this CBAF tent here, so
You are.
You are, yeah. Hey, I had to keep you 6 feet away from.
Well, you're the
you,
host, so you get the
yeah, a
tent.
little bit.
That's it.
I get to sit here all day for 2 days, so.
I know. Life's rough.
Yeah, I know. I can't complain. And John, that's awesome. I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, no problem, buddy.
And you know what? Let's do this. Let's do this again. Maybe in the after you win that little co-angler spot for the TBF.
I hope so, man.
Yeah. No, it'd be good. All right, guys. We'll be out. We'll be back in an hour or so. Have a good morning. If you can, come on out to the Country Chip Wagon in Dunnville, and we'll see you here. We're out around all day. You come by at what time? Between 7 and 8. We're giving away some sampler funnel fries. Are pretty good. We have a special surprise after dark there, and between 5:30 and 8:30, we got live music from Dave Burden. And tomorrow we have the first, hopefully what's going to be annual, walleye shootout here at the Wagon. We got 10 boats right now. You can come still register today. And then all weekend long we got Wingman Weekend. So 2 pounds of wings for $20. I think I'm going to be hitting some of that up later. But perfect. All right, guys, we'll talk to you in a bit.